Hi everybody, I'm back with another Throwback Thursday history video this morning. A few months ago, we talked about the quintessential text for Muhlenberg County research, Otto Rothert's History of Muhlenberg County. But Rothert's book was not all-inclusive, and since it was published in 1913, it only covered a little more than half of our now 222-year-old county's history. And that's where Paul Camplin comes in. In 1984, Muhlenberg County native and local newspaper man Paul Camplin published his own history book, appropriately titled A New History of Muhlenberg County. That book, and Mr. Camplin himself, are the focus of our video today. Paul Edward Camplin was born in October 1921 in the Beech Creek community of Muhlenberg County. He served 20 years in the U.S. Navy in various capacities, and attended journalism school during his time in the service. After retiring from the Navy in 1959, he briefly worked at WMTA radio station here in Muhlenberg County and the Evansville Courier newspaper before being hired by the state government in the Public Information Department. Later, he spent around 20 years writing for the Leader News. He wrote 2 columns, I Was Just Telling Carter and The Stories Behind the Stories, but he became known for his feature articles about other county residents. He delighted in telling the stories of his fellow Muhlenberg Countyans. In addition to his newspaper credits, Mr. Camplin was a member of the Filson Club Historical Society, the Kentucky Historical Society, and the Muhlenberg County Arts and Historical Society. Paul Camplin died on June 16, 2013, and his accomplishments and notability were such that his obituary took up most of an entire page in the Leader News. For historical researchers, his writings have proved to be incredibly valuable. His articles in the Leader News provide insight into community members and events, but not only that, we have his new history to help with our work, and we use it frequently. Mr. Camplin's new history is not a sequel to Rothert's book, but it fills in some of the gaps as well as including events that occurred after Rothert's publication was released. It starts with the history of each of the communities in the county, and not just Greenville and Central City either, but 25 different communities of the past and present. Each community's chapter includes a description of how the area was settled, an explanation of the name if one is available, and any notable community members or interesting events that happened in that area up to about 1984 when the book was published. The book also includes chapters on some of the county's well-known and influential residents, names that may still be familiar to many county residents today. For example, E.A. Cohen and S.E. Rice may no longer be around, nor are their businesses, but there are many of us who remember Cohen's store and the Rice Tobacco Factory, which still stands on Cherry Street in Greenville, even though the company has long since gone out of business. Other long-standing companies and public facilities, like the airport and the hospital, get their own sections as well, and there are several chapters devoted to oil, coal mining, and transportation. Like Mr. Rothert's 1913 history, Camplin's newer publication makes copious use of photographs and illustrations, more than 200 of them, in fact, according to the title page. Many of these may have been taken by Mr. Camplin himself, while others are historical images that help add context to the other information included in the book. And, like Mr. Rothert's book, Camplin's new history is very valuable to us at Thistle Cottage and to our visitors. Much of the information in this book would likely be lost if it hadn't been recorded and preserved here by Paul Camplin. Copies of Camplin's A New History of Muhlenberg County are still in much demand, despite being 37 years old now, but they have gotten hard to come by. We do have a couple of copies at Thistle Cottage available for regular use by our staff and visiting researchers, and we also have a couple of backup copies that we store separately just in case something happens to the ones currently in use. That way we minimize the risk of losing access to this information. And, thanks to the generosity of Mr. Camplin and his family, our archives also include an original manuscript and the original photos that were used when he compiled his book. These items are kept in special protective boxes in the archives to preserve them for the future. Speaking of Thistle Cottage, the time has almost come for us to finally reopen to the public. We've been waiting so long, and we couldn't be more excited to welcome visitors again. We'll be opening our archives department, what you may know as the History and Genealogy Annex, by appointment in the new year for those who are interested in historical research. Please be patient if you're looking to come visit us. We're going to get everyone in as soon as we can while still observing some safety measures and adjusting to all of the changes that have happened. But we can't wait to see you all. We plan to start taking those appointments and seeing visitors in early 2022. And if you'd like to visit us, you can give us a call at 270-338-4760 to schedule your appointment. The museum section of the building will remain closed for just a little bit longer as we finish getting all the little final touches complete up there in that section of the building, but we're hoping to reopen that department for visitors again soon as well. We appreciate everyone's patience and understanding over the difficult past few years, but we can't wait to get back to providing full service again. And thank you all for joining me again this morning for our Throwback Thursday video. Hopefully, I'll be seeing some of you in person before my next video comes along, but I will be back here in January with a new history topic as well. Have a great week and a great holiday season, everybody.